Good day to you all. My name is Joseph Oliver. I've lived all around the world. I grew up in the UK. I've lived in China for 5 years, and I've worked across Europe, Asia, and America. I'm a global citizen, so I don't come here to tell you about something you don't know already, because you're all global citizens too. I come here to talk to you today about something that I think is the most important challenge of our generation, and that is to create a sustainable future. So what will China look like in 25 years? Well, let me explain first the history of China, which you probably already know. And so you might have seen this before. There are 3 ancient schools of thought in China. They are Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. And they have similarities around sustainability. The 3 core similarities are that, basically, there is a moral and ethical guide to living, as in there are things that you can do that are right and wrong. They have no gods, so we are responsible for ourselves. And fundamentally, they all seek to become in harmony with the universe. We are all made up of the same things that make up this very land that we live on and the stars that we see at night. So why is this important? Well, 10 years ago, I first came to China to study Kung Fu, Qigong and Tai Chi. And I did that with the Shaolin monks. And I can tell you it was very sustainable. I had incredibly cold showers, used no LNG and very quick water because I was so fast to get out. I ate a very low carbon diet because it was mostly vegetables and rice. I trained using the mountains instead of using the gym. And I woke up at dawn and I fell asleep at sunset. So I was able to find a very meaningful life through all this, through being taught and educated about some of your ancient wisdom. And I took it back with me, and I've taken it with me all around the world and to how I live. The question is, what is modern China? Well, in 1978, Deng Xiaoping, who was previously mayor of Chongqing, he signed into effect the market reforms which opened China to economic foreign trade. And since then, China has seen the most incredible rise, economic rise of the whole of history. It has lifted 600 million, give or take a few 100,000, out of poverty. This is unprecedented and amazing. It's changed that many people's lives. But it's come at a great cost. And China now faces some of the most severe environmental issues of this planet. This is an example. I'm sure you see this regularly in here down in Chongqing. This is a photo I took during the day in Beijing. Notice how the cars have their headlights on. This is a problem that affects the rich and the poor, the young and the old. It affects Chinese and foreigner alike. That's why I wear this mask half the time in Beijing. I wear it because it's so that in 20 years I don't get lung cancer. Here, someone else. I hope that helps you. What is another major fact and major influence that's happening in China right now? Consumerism. Yeah? China has taken on Western consumerism like there's no tomorrow. With the wealth that's being created, it is being spent on new cars, large houses, and all the modern conveniences that can be bought. Unfortunately, as we all know, this doesn't make us happier. It doesn't satisfy us. And it's causing an extreme burden on the environment. And if we follow Western consumerism patterns, actually, the amount of people wanting the same thing will create an intolerable effect on the world, and it could cause the complete collapse of the ecosystem that we call Earth, and the thing that we rely on to survive. This is Beijing. I made this brand in Beijing to support and promote natural honey. So much demand, it sold out in 2 weeks. It's made using a renewable pot. You can reuse it. The label is recyclable, and the honey itself was unpasteurized and made by a guy who cared for his honeybees in the winter without giving them sugar water. And he had never sold it outside his village. You have producers everywhere creating the most incredible foods, and yet some of it's imported and is creating a massive detrimental effect to the environment. So how do we merge these three forces? Utilizing embedded wisdom, looking at consumerism, and then looking at the growth that has occurred. What do? Well, we first have to look at the motivations that are making people do this. And in China, the motivations are slightly different from the rest of the world. At its very base, you have belonging. The reason for this is that China is a collective, not an individual society. And I think this is great. It's based on how people work together. The hukou system is designated per family, not as an individual. And after that, you get what we call the physiology. So the things that you need to survive, the clear air, the water, the food, all of which are being compromised. All of which there have been major scares across China about because of the growth. These are the compromises that have been made. And because of those, you have safety, and these pin together the bottom half. And what does this result in? It results in a seeking for meaning. What does this all mean? And I've come to the conclusion that this means self and society. It is through your own actions and through the peer relationship around you which allows you to define your meaning and contribution to society, and that will give you meaning to life. We all rise together. This is the fundamental building block of actions in China. This is also where Guanxi comes from. So, who are these people seeking for meaning? Well, they're second generation. They are all of you sitting here today. They're the people who've had it better than their parents. They're the people connected to the internet, and they look like this. You and I. They're the people, they're the change makers of tomorrow, and the reason for this is that they've never had it so good, and at the same time they realize the flaws that all of this has brought. And they're in a position not to compromise, because they want to change the future for the better. So let's describe some of the predominant forms of these pioneers, because this is the pioneer generation. There are 4 types of pioneer. Firstly, there is the technology pioneer, which is symbolized by this computer. They are looking for big solutions to solve the big problems, and they're using technology to do that. They can't do it alone, and technology is not just the answer. Then there are the lifestyle pioneers, symbolized by this champagne in a bucket. These are the people who just want to go out and buy new things, and they want to buy them sustainably. And they want to consume in a sustainable way. This is the sustainable consumer. But that is not enough, because we cannot just consume more. Next, there is the natural pioneer. This is the person who puts the planet first, puts animals first, realizes that we need this in order to survive, but are so radical that they detach everyone else from wanting to be around them and wanting to support them. Most people only relate to other people. This is something really to remember. Finally, out of these types of pioneers, there is the survivalist, the one who wears the hard hat. And the reason for this is that they are building life rafts, and they're building small communities that will survive if something goes wrong. Locally made food, learning how to rebuild things by hand. These are the people who are so realistic about the future, but they don't think about anything more than their own community, so they are totally detached and on their own. So all of these have positives and all of them have negatives about the types of pioneers who will be leading tomorrow. And one of them characterizes the real leaders, the future leaders of tomorrow. And those are the meta-pioneers. Those are the people that take the best from all of these four things and they combine them. They talk and engage with these different pioneers and they bring them together to create solutions, to create compromises which allow for the greatest number of people to move forwards. These meta-pioneers need support because they are the agents of tomorrow. So what is the support that we need to give them? Well, Confucius said if you want to plant a seed, think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If you want to think of 10 years, plant a tree, and 100 years, teach the people. And we need to teach these agents, these meta-pioneers, how to be better at what they do, how to be excellent, how to be world-class, and support them with the very best minds of our generations to come and teach them how to do that. We need to help them learn, and to learn about all the factors that are occurring here, and to support them through education. And what will that look like? What will this place that we teach them within look like? They will look like nothing else you've seen before. They will be the centers of tomorrow, and they will be the centers of society. They will be institutions, educational institutions from the ground up, all the way through life, to teach people life skills about how to live in a future environment and how to build the skills that they need to survive and to coordinate people together. And they will go into the cities and they will infiltrate the cities and change them. They will be for communities. They will be urban gardeners. There will be artists. There will be IEs. All of them learning about what it means to have a sustainable future. And these meta-pioneers will build this community. And why is it important? Why is this so important? Because this is the major challenge of your generation. This is the largest challenge of your generation, and you are the ones who are able to make that change. In 25 years, when you look into the eyes of your child and they ask you, what did you do to make that change, to make a difference? You need to look at them and you need to say, I fought for you. I did what I could. So I ask you today to do what you can and to learn and to support those who are already doing this stuff and to become the pioneers that you already are. Thank you.